they're going to erupt. They're going to bust loose. Yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to bust loose. They're a powder keg juggernaut. Okay.
Average Joe conversation with average guys. Tyler and Wes with Walk the Plank.
Welcome everybody back to Soaking Drench Walk the Plank edition. It flooded, so we can't use the big field in my backyard, so we have to use this cut on concrete in our backyard. I'm talking about a flood, Tyler. How bad was it?
Oh, I know it had an inch or two of water in my house last night. It was so bad. And I was just telling Wes, gas station up the street had its awning blown off for too much rain and it fell. I don't know, but it's all in shambles.
Oh, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible. All the plants we have back here, everything's washed out. So we're going to do our segment right here. It's the best place for it. So what happened this weekend actually with let's go directly right into it with baseball. Seems that the Gators got chomped.
Yeah, the Gators got chomped, and looks like Mississippi State found their third pitcher, which is huge for them going on later in the season and possibly in the postseason.
Yeah, they got chomped, and let's see, LSU. Let's see.
LSU was 6 outs away from sweeping Vanderbilt.
Yep, Vandy.
State beat at Vandy earlier in the season.
Vandy, what is your assessment with Vandy thus far? It seems like to me they're actually kind of like middle of the road, even though they're a top team.
They're a top team, but I mean, what SEC team isn't a top team?
We just discussed that. That is correct. I mean, every team in the SEC is an absolute powerhouse.
I mean, Vandy isn't the Vandy of old. They can throw arm after arm after arm to batters, but I mean, they're still a decent team. I mean, they'll make regionals and maybe even host one, but they're not the Vandy of old that you'll see win a College World Series.
The Vandy of old is being last year,
or last year, year before that, you know.
Yeah, the Rebels swept Arkansas, which was kind of shocked me. I didn't think they'd sweep. I thought they'd take 2 out of 3 because, contrary to popular belief, Arkansas actually does have a hitting squad. Not so much a pitching squad, but they can lay the aluminum on the leather.
Yeah, they never went down. They went down without a fight. I didn't know this till yesterday. Did you know this is the first time ever Ole Miss has swept Arkansas in Oxford?
I knew it had been a while. It seems that Ole Miss just has a problem playing them in anything, even bingo or Connect Four.
Yeah, well, Arkansas, again, it's not Arkansas at all. Dave Van Horn has done a really good job with the Arkansas pitching. It's just this year it's not there. If they can find a couple of starters, Arkansas is going to be hard to deal with later in the season because they've got the bats, like Wes said, and they've definitely got the fight in them because they would never go away from Ole Miss. Ole Miss get up big on them, they come right back.
Well, you know, and that is true. That's true. And Tyler and I were talking about this, 2 nights ago we set up and actually talked about it. It was real brief, but if you really break it down, there's a fine hair between the top of the division in the West,
yes,
and the bottom 2 in the West. I mean, any of those, with the exception of Auburn, even Arkansas, can come back and take the whole series. Now with the East, Kentucky is tearing it apart.
I think Kentucky's the only team left in the SEC that has not lost a series yet.
Dude, they hadn't even come close to losing a series. Yeah. This is. But this may be a typical Kentucky thing of when they get into it and they lose three in a row. But you never know, man. The East is so fickle. Florida, you can make an argument. Okay, you can make an argument right now. Is Mississippi State the best in the conference, or is it Florida? That's typically what y'all would think, but that's not what we think is the best in the entire conference.
Not at all.
Who is that? Who is that team?
I think you agree with me. South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina Gamecocks is I think, the best team in the country.
And they weren't even supposed to be that good this year, but they brought in some JUCO guys that actually worked out for them, and they have a heck of a team this year. And I think SEC could possibly get 3 national seeds, but it'd be fun to watch if Ole Miss and Mississippi State keep winning. If they're going to pick 2 national seeds from the state of Mississippi, or are they going to go with Florida? I don't think LSU is going to get a national seed. I can see them getting a host though. But I do agree with you. South Carolina's probably the best team in the country.
They are the best team from top to bottom in the entire country, coming from base stealing to gap hitting to home run average. They're not quite up there with Arkansas, believe it or not, but South Carolina is there. With that said, we're going to end it right now. Enough of the chirps and all of that jazz. Explain what RPI means in baseball to the viewers so they can actually know without the chirps.
Well, RPI plays a big role in the end of the baseball season. The reason it works out is because the baseball season, college baseball season, is so long. It actually kind of correlates with your final ranking. But RPI means ratings percentage index. It's like a big math equation, and I'm not even going to try to get into explaining all that to you because I don't have the time.
So BCS on steroids.
Exactly. But we had a conversation with a couple people not yesterday, but earlier this week, saying that RPI does not matter, and when they do the final.
It doesn't in football, but it does in baseball.
Yeah, selecting a regional side or selecting a national seed. There's not ever in the history of college baseball, ever since RPI has been out, that a national seed has been higher than number 12. And even though, I'm going to use Mississippi State as an example, even though State is number 2, I think it's the highest ranking they have, their RPI is 14, 15, or 16. So in saying that, even though they're number 2 in any, the highest in one of the polls, they would only be a host site. But yet Ole Miss, who's 12, 13, 14 of the polls, would be a national seed because their RPI is number 4.
So let's summarize this. I actually remember a few years back, it bit the Ole Miss Rebels. They were highly ranked, but the RPI was so terrible. They got a regional, and everybody was complaining, why didn't Ole Miss get the super regional? Because they are in the top 10. Well, why is that?
Well, kind of what State's doing this year. They had a couple horrible losses beginning of the year, and it could never recover from that.
And the teams they lost to are not winning.
Exactly.
That's very imperative, because the Ole Miss Rebels are, I believe, 19-1 non-conference.
19-1. That's right.
So 2 of those wins from a top 2 team, and the other 2 wins were from top 20 teams.
Yeah.
And we're not coming down on Mississippi State or anything. We're just trying to hash it out for you guys so you viewers can understand reality. Mississippi State lost to teams that were not even the top 100 in RPI.
And I think 2 of those states were top 150 or worse.
Yeah, and that it doesn't matter who you beat, it's who you lose to.
Exactly. And that's the reason Ole Miss and Florida both are ahead of State in the RPI, even though State has beat them in series. It's because Florida and Ole Miss have not lost to those lower ranked teams or lower tier teams.
And that chimes in the final synopsis on the RPI. Could Mississippi State improve from 14 to a super regional with a 2-win, not a sweep, over A&M?
I don't know if it's going to jump that many spots, but
it did this weekend. Jump from 30
that was
to
on the road versus number 1 team.
Right.
A&M's not the number 1 team, and they're
29-win streak and all that jazz. I get it.
yeah, and plus State's playing at home for the Super Bulldog weekend. They'll jump a little bit if they win too, and I think they will, and possibly sweep A&M. A&M's Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. They really good one weekend, really bad. Florida swept them at Florida. I don't think they're going to get that high this weekend if they sweep or win 2 out of 3. But as the season rolls on and State keeps winning, of course they'll be right there in the thick of it.
Yeah, they'll be definitely a regional. It brings up the whole thing on what we're getting at here. And this is kind of neat because a lot of people don't really look at it from this standpoint because in national perspective, they see certain schools in the top 1 or 2, but they don't understand that the teams in the other conference are literally a game or 2 behind them.
Yeah, Ole Miss is only 2 games.
I mean, if you're theoretically, if State wins 1 game out of 3 and Ole Miss sweeps, State's behind them.
Or tied with them.
Or tied.
And let me go back to RPI. Just last year, I just thought of this, remember this actually. I think Texas A&M was ranked number 6 in the nation, but the RPI was so low, they got a regional, but didn't get a national seed. But yet they were number 6 in the nation, and I think all but one of the polls, in the other poll, they were like number 8 or 9.
True. And to further cement what we're saying, the conspiracy theories of let's say the Ole Miss Rebels getting a super regional in Texas and all, Virginia would be in there. That's not a conspiracy theory. Their RPI put them in there. That's what we're getting at right now. Like, if it was to happen today, I predict that Mississippi State would get a regional and Southern Miss would be in that regional today, right now.
Well, actually, I may disagree with you. Southern Miss is on the outskirts of getting a regional themselves.
Outskirts, I said today.
Well,
like right now, if the selection committee,
they're bubbly.
There is a bubble there, but this is all great stuff. We just wanted to bring up that point, and when we come back, we're going to touch on the rules. There's one or two rules we want to touch on that actually happened with a home run that was bounced out that was called a automatic double.
Not a ground rule double, automatic double.
We'll explain what that is. We'll see you very shortly, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Walk the plank.
Welcome everybody back to Walk the Plank Sports, the
slop edition.
The slop edition, the nasty Mississippi weather edition. On the break, we were just looking at Tyler's Mercedes-Benz, and yes, he's got a pimp two-door 460. What is that?
468.
What? I mean, he's got the classic, man. The ghetto gangster Scarface classic. I want the car. I want the car, but I guess we'll have to wager a bet or something on that. We'll figure that out later. But
it's a convertible.
Oh man, it's nice. But we had some questions on some of the Smack pages, and when you're doing Smack, it's hard to explain because people want to defend the actual event immediately. So we're going to go directly into a college rule.
Also a major league rule.
And it's a major league rule as well.
It's been around since 1930.
Since 1930. So what we're going to do is we're just going to end it right here. A couple days ago, Mississippi State was playing Florida in the swamp and jacked a moon rocket, and it hit the top of the fence. Now, it was an automatic, what they say, an automatic double. Here is the rule. This is the official rule. The ball cannot touch the fence. It has to go over.
I mean, the fence, it's just like say the outfitter jumped up and went to catch it, and the ball went off the top of his glove and bounced over the fence. It would also be an automatic double. That is part of the field. The fence is part of the playing field. So it's just the same thing as a ground rule double. You know, if the ball hits the ground and bounces over the fence, it'll be a ground rule double. Same thing with the fence or a player or a player's glove or whatever. Unless it clears the total fence, and that's why if you watch major league games or college games now, they're more on TV, and you see them reviewing a home run, going back and forth, is seeing if the ball hit any part of that fence. Because if it does, it's just a double, not a home run.
Well, to go into bigger detail about that, there was a runner on second base, and everybody was saying, okay, well, it's a ground rule double or an automatic double. Why don't they advance? They don't advance. The actual batter is allowed. He's gifted 2 bases. All that does is allot the runner to move up. Now, if there was a runner on second and third, Mississippi State would have had a run.
Yes. That's
the rules. I know a lot of people don't like it, but that is actually the rules. It is the exact same thing in college as it is MLB. Bottom line, the ball for it to be a home run, the ball can't touch the fence at all. If it nicks the fence, it is an automatic double. Which brings us, we're going to close that down.
Speaking of home runs, go ahead.
Home runs. Cyborg is now in the UFC. This was a home run hire, a long-awaited event. It's been waited for 3 years now, 4 years. The only reason that Cyborg could not enter UFC is because they didn't have a legitimate women's division. Now that Ronda Rousey has came in and made, and I have to say this, Ronda Rousey is single-handedly responsible for bringing together the women's division and UFC. I give her the props to that. But there's always a bigger and a badder person out there, and Holly Holmes has completely demoralized the women's division. Thus, the signing of Cyborg happened. Now explain the weight class to that, or do you want me to go into it?
This is your deal.
Okay. In order for this to happen, for Cyborg to fight Ronda, Dana White is not allowing Ronda to go up per weight. They want Cyborg, or he wants Cyborg to come down to 135. He has no issue with that. And I'm going to tell you why he has no issue with that. Because he knows Cyborg, it would literally, of that amount of weight loss, would decrease her ability, because she is a monster. So what you will see, and we just found out that Meisha Tate's camp declined a rematch with Holly Holm.
Which we have posted on the Walk the Plank Facebook page.
It is.
If you want to go read more about it.
And it also gets deeper, because Meisha Tate went off and tweeted that she did not indeed say that, which they have on camera her saying that. Dana White is the one behind this whole gig. So this is not Tyler, just me. This is what I see happening. I see Holly Holm coming back and fighting Cyborg, and then the winner of that will fight Tate, if Tate wins at 200. With that said, rumors are...
Now here we go with the rumors.
Rumors are, there's a little Rousey. Now, I don't know. Could it be coincidence that this happened with Cyborg? But I'm going to tell you here at Walk the Plank, there's a fact. Cyborg is in UFC, and it's for a reason.
Well, see, if the rumors are not true, this is what I'm looking forward to with the UFC, that bantamweight women's division. You're going to have a 3-woman race. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Cyborg,
Holme and Rousey. Because Meisha Tate's out. She's not going to win.
Meisha Tate had no chance but to finish her like she did, and give her props, golf clap. She did, and she has the belt finally. But I mean, Ronda Rousey had no problem disposing of her, and I don't think Holly Holm will have a problem disposing of her.
No, Meisha Tate does not want Holly Holm. You give Holly Holm enough.
Who do you fight? You can't back away from any of them. You're going to have to fight Cyborg. You're going to have to fight Holly Holm. You're going to have to fight Ronda Rousey.
Well, here comes the big question. What if Cyborg comes in and gets crushed by Holly Holm? You know what that means?
Her mouth won't run anymore.
Her mouth won't run anymore. And also it means that if Ronda Rousey does not have a kid in the oven, or however the statement is, because I don't have children, if that's the case, then Ronda has to fight Holly. And you as viewers know, and we know. Well, hold on. We're going to touch on that. We all know that Ronda does not want to fight Holly again. The best case scenario for Dana White is this, and you'll agree with me on this. Holly Holmes lose to Cyborg, and Cyborg fights Ronda Rousey. That's a perfect world, but that ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. Ronda Rousey is going to sit back, because we still haven't figured out. 3 weeks ago she said she just was able to bite into an apple.
She actually posted a video of it about
3 weeks ago. She was just able to bite into an apple, and they actually showed pictures of her physique. She's gotten chubby now.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey has not even been training. She's just really chubby. So I don't even think she's focused on it. So Dana White, back to my theory of what I initially said when we were over at Rodney's house, is that the only way to survive it is to bring in the dog, the top dog, and that's Cyborg. And he did. He brought in Cyborg, and if Cyborg blows straight through the women's division, he's going to have to do something. I don't know. He's going to have to do something crazy.
Well, let's say Ronda is pregnant. And
She's done. If she's pregnant, she's done.
This is theoretical, but I'm just going to throw this out there for you. Say she's pregnant and she has a kid. Cyborg blows through that division.
If she beats the only person that can beat her.
Theoretical.
Theoretically, yes. If Cyborg, and I agree with Tyler, if Cyborg beats Holly Holm, she has no competition.
You don't think Dana White's going to throw tons of money at Ronda Rousey to come back to fight her?
No, I think I'm going to take a step further. I think Dana White's going to throw a ton of money at Layla Ali.
Could be.
Layla Ali will whip them all. Do you know that's the only person
I would love to see Ali versus Holme.
Yeah, Ali versus Holme would be the premier match of the century.
But that'd be more of a boxing match than UFC.
Well, it would be fun because it would actually go for a long time, and there wouldn't be an arm bend or a rear naked chokehold. Wait! Man, I wanted to say a curse word so bad. Conor McGregor is rematching.
Yeah, you knew that was happening.
We knew it was going to happen, but what's your synopsis on this? Does he really want to fight Conor this time around?
Does Conor? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think McGregor was winning that fight until with the mid-second round, he just tired out, and that's when he got jumped on and choked out, ironically enough.
Both champions got rear naked chokeholds. With that being said, what is your take with Walk the Plank? Because Tyler and I both agree on this, that Dana White is setting the UFC, which is kind of crazy because we were touching on this the other night. The UFC women's division is bringing in just about as much or more than the men's division.
I would say more because, I mean, how many women's fans you know versus how many men?
Man, it's brought in all kinds of fans that, okay, UFC has reached all-time precedents. I have to give it to you, Dana White. You know what you're doing. You touch the boxing side of it. So people actually, with Holly Holm, people want to watch it now in the women's division.
I mean, back in the day, you had Chuck Liddell. You had...
he basically was a brawler.
He knocked you out. He didn't, like you said,
he won't bend your arm.
He'd knock you out.
Yeah, he won't bend your arm. He'll knock you out.
And then you had St. Pierre. Then you had B.J. Penn. You had Shamrock. You had...
Tank Abbott. Rampage Jackson.
You had all these fan favorites.
And now, did you notice most of them were stand-up guys?
Yeah. And
it has changed so much.
It's gone more to mixed martial arts than actual stand-up. But my point is, back when I first got into it anyways, you had all these fan favorites in the men's division and nothing in the women's. And now that's flipped with Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm and Meisha Tate and now Cyborg. I know more.
Woo! Cyborg is the Don King, Mike Tyson of UFC, basically.
And it's going to get crazy with Cyborg. Cyborg's a loose cannon. I mean, she's got...
The X factor here is Holly Holm. That's the X factor. If she beats everything... That's our Florida versus LSU. That the whole women's division is going to come down to that match.
Which, if you watch the last episode, you know what he's talking about. If you haven't, I would suggest you go back and watch that episode.
Because yes. Anyway, great segment. We're going to take a break and we're going to close it up. You got us for about 10 more minutes. We've got a couple more things we want to touch on, and we will see you then.
Peace.
Walk the plank.
Oh my God. Welcome back to Walk the Plank Sports. We literally just recorded our entire segment, and we had a malfunction. I'm so pissed at Apple. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter at this point because I want to redo it anyway. And basically, what was it we first touched on?
CAM AKERS.
CAM AKERS. What I'm saying is this. Cut and dried. There is a pipeline to where?
Hey, from Clinton to Mississippi State.
To Mississippi State. Now, who is the famous running back that came from Mississippi State?
Are you talking about Mr. Walker?
Mr. Dante Walker. So there is a pipeline there. And who has been posted up in Clinton for the past 3 or 4 weeks?
It's a state, but it's from the state of Ohio State.
Mr. Urban Meyer himself has been seen at Kroger in Clinton. So
They must have good sales at that Kroger, huh?
They must have, but I've got news. I've got news because we're going to break it all down very quickly here. Cam Akers was a commit to where?
Alabama.
And he decommitted. When?
A couple weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago.
A month ago.
Tyler told me, this is funny. In 2012, this is the reason we depend on each other so much, because we know our stuff. In 2012, Tyler told me, he called me up, he goes, Robert Comdici will be an Ole Miss Rebel. This is when he was a junior, before he was a senior in high school. I said, that's insane. I said, I'm going to counter it, and Mark Dotson Jr. out of Memphis, Tennessee, is going to be a Rebel. Well, both of us are right, and but we've been doing this way before then. So with that being said, I'm going to go with what Tyler says about Cam. What's the spiel?
Cam Akers at Clinton, like Wes said, he was an Alabama commit early. And I've been telling Wes and other people this, that he will decommit from Alabama at some point. And like we said, about a month ago, he decommitted from Alabama. I've heard from people out of Clinton that are close to Cam Akers. The top two are Ole Miss and Virginia. And I know Ohio State's coaches have been in Clinton. Mississippi State coaches have been in Clinton. Ole Miss, Alabama, and others have been in Clinton trying to, garner the services for Mr. Akers. I don't know why he likes Virginia. I would have figured Virginia Tech with the old Memphis coach there. He was a pretty good offensive genius. But I predict, and I think you'll see this come to light, Cam Akers will commit to Ole Miss in late summer, early fall, meaning from mid-July through October, somewhere in that time period. I look for Cam Akers to commit to Ole Miss. And the reason State fans, I don't want to ruffle your feathers, I don't know what I'm trying to say, is because Kylan Hill looks to be a lock for Mississippi State. He's probably the number 2 running back in the state of Mississippi.
Very true, and that's going to be my point. Would you consider Cam Akers, here at Walk the Plank Sports, we consider him the number 1 prospect in the state of Mississippi. Not the number 1 running back, but he is the number 1 running back. But State's already got the lock on the number 2.
Yeah, I believe Kylan Hill will actually commit to State fairly shortly, the next couple of weeks, maybe next couple of days. But the people I know around Mississippi State that keep up with Mississippi State recruiting are not confident at all on Cam Akers. And I know it's very, very, very early in the process, but they don't get the feeling that Cam Akers will be in Starkville this fall.
And it's very, very hard because Clinton, Mississippi, Clinton High School is the pipeline like South Panola
to Ole Miss.
To Ole Miss.
Right.
So, but with that being said, with the comings of A.J. Brown, and now there's all kinds.
Willie Gay from Starkville.
Willie Gay, as a matter of fact, during the practice at Mississippi State, the big baseball game, he was in Oxford.
Yeah, when they played Ole Miss in their big weekend, and Willie Gay was in Oxford.
When they beat Ole Miss.
When they beat Ole Miss, yes.
Yeah, Willie Gay was in Oxford.
And I think that was his second weekend in a row, if I'm not mistaken, for Willie Gay. Willie Gay's one of his best friends is A.J. Brown, who signed with Ole Miss out of Starkville. So I would not be surprised one bit to see Willie Gay, his name on the Ole Miss signing list come signing day in 2017.
So here's what we're saying. Here at Walk the Plank, we believe that the Clinton pipeline this year to Mississippi State has been severed. Is Cam Akers Ohio State? No.
No.
Is Cam Akers at Virginia? No.
No.
That leaves it back to Bama or Ole Miss, and y'all can roll the dice on that, but my theory tells me that he's not going to go to Bama. That's just me. So with that being said, we do have some major props to give out to people that let us indulge their page.
Indulge is probably the nice way to put it. We at times take over their page with posts and videos and questions and this, that, and the other. But Sports 365, we thank you. Shout out. 4th and Goal, SEC Smack, Bulldogs vs. Rebels. Shout out. We thank you.
All the Hell State, Hotty Toddy pages, shout out. SEC Throwdown shout out. Like I said, we're on over 20 different smack pages. All of you guys shout out. Major props. With that being said, hopefully the rain will not go like it has been.
I think it will. I looked on the way over here and it was tomorrow.
Well, then we're
Thursday,
going to,
Friday.
with that being said, props to Mississippi State for the #1 bass fishing in America.
Hey, y'all won a national championship, man. Y'all should be happy about that. That's what
There you
you've
go.
been trying to get after. But I also want to mention that we've been writing our own articles lately. We want to try to do more in-house articles and push out somebody else's. We also have podcasts. So if you can't watch a video and you're in the car on the go or doing your mile run or in the gym or whatever, if you're an iPhone user, you can go to iTunes and where it says search, type in Walk the Plank Sports, and you've got all the episodes.
What about Android?
Android, you got a Podomatic, and again in the search, type Walk the Plank Sports, and on both Android and iTunes, or Podomatic and iTunes, if you go click the link to follow us, every time we upload a new episode of Walk the Plank Sports, it'll go directly to your phone.
I tell you what, I'm gonna do something, and it just popped off my head. Tyler has no idea. Give me the most votes of where you want us to set up and actually do a video cast in your town or your school or your college during a football game, and we'll be there.
We will be there. And
We will show up. We will pack up and come to your town, and we will let you sit on our set. And this time next week, you can we'll do video calls. Phone calls, actually, is what I'm saying. Not video, but phone. So be putting your questions in, and what an awesome piece. I love doing these, and I love our supporters and everything. Tyler, you got anything else, man?
yeah, like I go back on the iTunes and Podomatic. I don't care what you say about us. You can say I'm ugly, he's ugly, I'm dumb, he's dumb.
Just give us a 5.
Yeah, just rate us 5 stars, and we will get over whatever you say on Podomatic and iTunes.
Believe me, we get blasted every day. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, that's daily routine for me. Big ears, big nose, whatever.
Good Lord, we give facts and we get blasted.
Right?
That's what we do. But anyway, everybody, we will see you very soon. If we can slip it in, we might do another one this week, but the big A&M weekend is coming up, and Ole Miss plays who?
At Alabama.
At Alabama. So screw the Tide, and what else have we got? Hail State. Let's do it. We'll see you next week.
Peace.